Turned out his houses you can't see with Street View. His houses you can't see with satellite photos. His information's all protected. And he admitted 3 years ago, through a patent that Google got, that they're using the audio sensor, the microphone, and the video camera to listen to you in real time. But he said, don't worry, humans aren't. Computers are creating text, like NSA text, echelon text, that then do an algorithm to just, if they hear a dog barking, dog food ads pop up. Oh, you didn't know that's why that's happening? It's not just cookies of where you go. It's already in place. Just they're listening to you, openly bragging, and this is what he has to say about it on CNBC.
People are treating Google like their most trusted friend. Should they be?
Well, I think judgment matters.
Eric Schmidt is Google's CEO.
If you have something that you don't want anyone to know, maybe you shouldn't be doing it in the first place.
Oh.
But if you really need that kind of privacy, the reality is that search engines, including Google, do retain this information for some time. And it's important, for example, that we are all subject in the United States to the Patriot Act. It is possible that that information could be made available to the authorities.
What a great setup for our next guest coming up. See, from do no evil, don't be evil, to, we don't surveil any of you, don't worry, it's no big deal. Just look, we got satellite scans all your heat residents. We're totally controlling you. We're already spiking your water supply. Ha, ha, ha. There's nothing you can do. I mean, it's just, hey, you don't deserve to live in privacy. You don't deserve. There's no Fourth Amendment. You are going to be surveilled. That's the way it is. And we're going to use microphones to listen to you in your house. By the way, you don't believe me? Just use Google. Google to use cameras in computers to surveil you. We wrote articles about that 3 years ago with links to press releases by Google. And then Yahoo came out and said, our system's better. We're surveilling you better. And then, again, this is the in-your-face system. It's way past 1984. It's way past. And here's another tidbit. Notice the movies, every movie I see now has people being tasered, and it's funny. Torture is funny, and pain compliance is taught to all our police now. You can't torture Al-Qaeda. They sell us on that idea, but they are torturing these people for fake confessions. But then, pain compliance, you can take a pro-lifer sitting on a sidewalk and break their arm with their bone sticking out, like I show in my film Martial Law, and the police go to federal court and they say, yeah, pain compliance. They taser people to give urine samples now. You see all the videos of a young lady that doesn't answer the questions of the police? They just knock her teeth out. Beating them in the head with clubs. That's how this world operates. They're letting you know. You're here to supply the establishment, and then we're going to euthanize you as soon as you get old, just like the cover of Newsweek said, the case for killing Granny. They love it. For the next 30 minutes, we are joined by John Young of Cryptome.org, one of the best, it was kind of WikiLeaks before WikiLeaks, on issues of government spying, surveillance, illegal surveillance, you name it. And they're really a clearinghouse posting and publishing a lot of this. He pointed out to me in an email that he didn't even break this. They just hosted the documents. Yahoo threatens Cryptome over leaked surveillance document. Yahoo, the internet corporation notorious for helping China implement totalitarian censorship of the web, has instructed its lawyers to go after Cryptome, a site that functions as a repository for information about freedom of speech, cryptography, spying, and surveillance. Michael T. Gershberg of the law firm, and it goes on, sent a DMC takedown order notice to John Young, Cryptome webmaster. On December 3rd, the law firm claims that Cryptome has violated Yahoo's intellectual property rights and copyright by posting Yahoo's compliance guide for law enforcement. Young has refused to remove the document from his website. The takedown order is posted on the Cryptome website. And we've got his comments here pointing out they never registered it as copyrighted, and he's being pretty sarcastic with them. But it's good to have him here with us today. Mr. Young, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Tell us just briefly about Cryptome.org. I mean, a lot of my listeners are big supporters of it. I've been learning a lot for many years from it. But for those that don't know, a snapshot of Cryptome.org, and this is only the latest persecution and visitation that you guys have had over the years. So perhaps give us a little bit of background on that, and then this latest trip into Orwellville.
Great. Good opportunity to speak with you, Alex. We set this site up 13 years ago to publish information that the government didn't want the public to see. That's its only purpose. We've since expanded into commercial stuff that businesses don't want the public to see, but most of it had to do with publishing government documents that they had rather the public not see. So people send us documents that they have access to, or we get them through FOIA, or they show up from unknown sources. So we publish it without editorial remarks in most cases and let the readers decide what they think about it. So it's more like a library than a blog. And so we have about 45,000 documents now on the website that have been collected and put up for public reading. The most recent series we've been putting up are Telecom law enforcement compliance guides, in which they are obliged to provide access to telecom records through through official legislation established for this purpose. Most of these guides are kept private because the telecoms don't want the public to know that they're selling this information to the government. Christopher Sologian broke this story a week ago on his website. He's a student at Indiana University, and he'd been doing research on this and asking for FOIA information, and he was refused. But he did get copies of letters from Verizon and Sprint objecting to the release of what they call confidential business information, because if the public saw it, they would be very upset with us. Well, lo and behold, a day or two later, someone sent us a copy of Yahoo's lawful compliance guide, so we put it up.
And now they have thankfully verified it's authentic by saying, yes, that's ours. Just like the ClimateGate swindlers, the top UN scientists all colluding in fraud to hide the decline in global temperatures in the last 9 years. They came out and admitted, yeah, those are ours, somebody stole them. So it's always a nice verification.
That's right. And so along with the Yahoos, we've got about 8 or 9 others from telecom companies that have similar policies in place, which they've never disclosed before. And so that's now on our website, and the Yahoo one is the one that's gotten the only response from the owners of these documents, so they claim, and sent us a standard DMCA takedown. We've gotten these DMCA takedowns several times over the years and have tried our best to resist them. So,
there's a lot of fake ones, too. We've noticed most of the ones we've gone through have been fake. We always challenge it with a federal filing in federal court and have beaten them. But that's if they try to carry the takedown order through. Of course, that's hard to do with all of our different servers we use, the CDN systems we use. But I don't want to get into the architecture of how you resist those. John, specifically with this new case, let's start at the beginning. What do the documents, I've read over some of them, what do they show? The shopping list of, hey, warrants, we don't need no stinking warrants. It's all yours. Just pay us some taxpayer money. We'll give them to you very quickly. Let's break that down, and then now the latest threats by Yahoo and why you believe you don't have to remove it.
Well, nearly all these are the same. Is they have set up policy to comply with the so-called CALEA requirement, which is Communication Assistance for Law Enforcement, which is a law passed back in the late 90s to force telecom companies to comply with requests from law enforcement agencies. So they set up policies to comply with this, but also set up fees for providing the service. It turns out there's nothing controversial about the compliance part. It's the fees that they want to keep quiet, which has never been publicized because they think that's confidential business information. So that's what they're fighting about, is the money they're making off this. And
well, I've had the feds show up here a couple times, and they just say, just give us people's names. And I go, no. Go get a subpoena, and they have subpoenaed us twice. But and the feds are like, well, usually people don't make us have a warrant.
Well, one of the things that Chris Sologian found out was that there's an end run that can be made with Internet information. Most of the tight restrictions are on wiretap of telephones. That's the legacy legislation. But for Internet, they can go around by providing information through loopholes in the law. And that's what they've been doing, and that's what people didn't know about it, which Chris revealed. And that's what these documents show. They put up a brave front of showing they're complying, but they're in fact providing information that is not covered in the legislation.
And that's their emails, that's the instant messages, and it's all itemized. You know, you want it, Yahoo's got it.
That's right. And it turns out it's a very lucrative business. That's what was surprising Chris found out, was that how much money they're making off this.
I saw a story last week where Sprint got 8 million law enforcement requests last year alone for GPS location off the cell phones, which is part of the Telecom Act of 1996. By law, October 1st, 2001, all cell phones have to be tracked in real time off the GPS triangulation from the cell towers down to 15 feet. It's really 3 feet, but the law is 15 feet. And they can dial in and listen to what you're doing even when the cell phone's off. So it's just a massive system. And as insiders told me over a decade ago, the phone companies aren't tapped by the NSA. They are the NSA. They have whole floors of their installations where everything goes through it.